Hello and welcome to another installation of TechTalk. The boys are back. It is another Friday. We're excited to have another great topic. Mike, why don't you give us a little bit of input what we're talking about today?
Well, from time to time, we do like to circle back to particular topics, especially when they keep coming up in the industry and that sort of things there. So we like to have some refreshers. And today's topic's a little bit edgy. Edges, guys. Talking edges. Certainly a big part of what we do and how it needs to get done. So what are some of the issues? What are some of the common things that we hear?
Well, Mike, I'm glad that we're talking about this one because it gives me an opportunity to talk about our new product called the Works Plus Robo Edge, which is an automatic edging machine.
Wow, Josh has gone straight in for the hard sell. What have you got?
Is that when you give the tool to somebody else to do it?
Well, I just thought I had to take the opportunity because, that's what we all want in the industry, something that does the edges and miraculously makes all those problems go away and also prevents us from getting these phone calls about, look at this, this photo that I got, there's all these scratches along the edge or, different white picture framing around the edge. And why is this happening? That could make a lot of problems go away. The Robo Edge.
Robo Edge.
I know certainly one of the things I hear quite a bit is resins. My resins aren't holding up. They're falling apart. I know that's certainly a big one. It's not as common, but it's certainly when it comes up, it's a pretty straightforward sort of fix and a straightforward sort of issue that can be resolved. What do you guys find?
Well, when resins tend to fall apart, let me just grab a resin, just so we have something to reference with. So when we start polishing, we often talk about heat and how much heat we generate. And glue, we know glue has a breaking point when it heats up. So if we're running that tool on a very fast edging machine, let's say the concrete planer, which spins up to 9,000 RPM, very fast, very good for grinding, not very good for resins. We've got to factor in not just the heat, what's going to produce a little resin swirls or scratches on your edges, but the glue's actually going to give away. So we've got to be mindful and slow that tool down. These things are only designed to be worked at max 3,000 RPM. So I personally used to run them around 2,000 RPM, but also keep an eye out what's coming at the back of the edger or the side of the edger. I don't know which way you work your edges, but very important, heat is the enemy once again.
So if I just get a concrete planer and just slow it down, is that all I've got to do? Is that the only?
Even though it is variable, Mike, the slowest speed on this variable, let's say the Makita planer, it's 4,000 RPM. That's still over the threshold, so it won't do it. It's going to fail.
And you're going to lose.
Sorry to say.
Going to lose a lot of your torque as well, I think, is the other. I think its peak torque range is up in the higher RPM as well, isn't it?
Correct.
So let me get this straight. When we've got a big, heavy concrete grinding machine and we put it on the floor, all the stuff that we're looking at as an operator is, all right, what's coming out the back of the machine here? What's it telling me about my speeds? What's it telling me about the tool that I'm running? Are you telling me that some of the same fundamentals as operators that we've got to look at, we still have to implement some of those things while doing edging?
All day, every day.
So the same fundamentals apply.
Yeah.
So I could even take your advice then, Milan. I could be on a stinking hard concrete slab and I could go, Milan said 3,000 RPM, because that's how he talks.
Oh, right.
I could hit that edge at 3,000 RPM and still I could run into problems.
Yeah.
Could still run into problems. Same as the big claw machine.
I thought you guys were here to solve my problems.
Hey, as
Well-
one famous one said, if you've got a problem, I'll solve it.
I actually got a question, Josh. I don't know if it's relevant or not, but I've had some very interesting conversations in the past with you about new innovations and things coming out in the industry, you know? And like, we always wonder, why hasn't Works Plus fixed this whole edging problem? Where we can just have this machine like this robo machine, you know, like you mentioned earlier, right? And I know there's people that have come to Works Plus in the past. We've got the solution for the edges. We've got it. It's done. Here is it. You attach this and it's boom. Why are we doing it still the old school way? Why are we still on our hands and knees?
Look, I promoted the wall jack, and nobody really liked the wall jack. That's the one that lifted up the wall so you could get under them, and then you drop it all back down again. That wasn't a successful innovation. Look, unfortunately, it's a really, really difficult process to automate, and it's also a very, very. We talk about getting close to the edges. It's also a very, very difficult process to do with a minimized shroud and getting really close and minimize dust, of course, exposure to dust. So there's a lot of things involved, and particularly with concrete as well, in residential in particular, it's often not absolutely dead flat. So as an operator, we're still trying to massage the floor and feather out discrepancies in trowel finishes and that sort of stuff. So any qualified concrete polisher, now is there a qualification for that? Any qualified concrete polisher will tell you that the edges is an art to making the floor look uniform and homogeneous. So try and transfer that, and we've all tried transferring that to a new guy, to a new recruit. Try transferring that into a digital data set so that we can actually create some type of automated system. It's pretty difficult. We'd love to see it. If you've got one, if you're hiding one, we want to see it.
Yeah. No,
I have a saying for edges that I always say to my contractors: edges make or break jobs. Edges are very, very important, and doesn't matter how good you are behind a push machine or an RC machine, if your edges aren't on par, well, it's going to look pretty average.
Absolutely. Edges are so crucial. I mean, I speak to a lot of contractors, and the constant feedback is 50% of my jobs, the time I'm spending on the project is on my hands and knees doing the edges. So when you think about the kind of quality that you need to produce on your hands and knees, you gotta have the right tools and set yourself up the right way to get the right results. Because as we always have talked in the past, it's always about creating that consistency. And like you said, Josh, there's so many variables. A machine possibly couldn't just do that, because we can see what's happening on the floor.
Well, hold up your wheel of resins again.
Gladly.
I mean, there's so many different types, because, hey, not every concrete slab is the same. And as much as that we do in the pre-work, all of the preparation stages, the grouting and the densifying, as much work that we do to try and bring everything to a similar type of final stage prior to honing, there are still so many material differences, and that's why we've got to have so many different tools in our arsenal. And that's why it's so important to be watching what's coming off the edge of that machine, Milan, because it's just like when we're operating that walk-behind machine. As a technician and operator, we're just watching what's coming out the back and responding to what we're seeing. And unfortunately, at this point in time, so long as they're going to be making concrete out of different materials all around the world, using different aggregates, different sands, and different water contents, and you name whatever else, we're going to have variations in the type of concrete that we're seeing every day, and we're going to have to continue to learn and adapt.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
It's not always going to be 3,000 RPM.
Definitely not. Definitely not. Gonna have to watch.
So,
That's the key. Watching.
who is the bandit in the room?
Who is the bandit in the room?
You must be. Look at your bandit behind you.
That's not actual size, by the way, people.
Huh?
That's not actual size.
Is that the robot you were talking about?
Robot. Right.
The robot
Because
has a name.
I bought one myself. It looks exactly the same. I think I got a rip-off. What's this? It can fit in my hand.
You've got a red one, mate. It must go fast.
I've got a... Red does go faster. Absolutely. As does a red rubber in the flange to suppress the vibrations.
Okay, I thought you were going to say red rubber in the flesh.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Now, time for the, so that's the Edge Bandit and the anti-vibration suppressor. I know she's got a nice shroud on that unit as well. I'll go the shameless plug. So that all comes as a complete kit when we sell our concrete planer and polisher, right?
Yeah, this is the planer.
Do not polish.
Polisher is this. We actually do also the Edge Bandit for the polisher.
Guys, if I've already got a planer or if I've already got a polisher and that sort of thing, you can buy those items independently, right?
Yeah, just buy a whole new kit on your own, independently of your friends.
Well, all right. Enlighten us. So Edge Bandit come about because when people are grinding and they were complaining about, because you've got the gearbox and you're putting a lot of strain and a lot of weight onto that machine to remove scratches and remove densifier, or you're using your cup wheels, and you're creating a lot of heat in the gearbox. You find your grinder will start to heat up because it's working really hard. So all of a sudden, hey, I can't do this for very long because my hand is just getting way too hot. So also, because it's not a flat surface on the gearbox, it's a little bit awkward to hold. So Works Plus always comes up with this solution to have a nice Edge Bandit, which reduces the amount of heat getting transferred onto your hand, and also to have more control, so you can put that weight nice and evenly over that grinder. So,
yeah, nice and centralized, right over the center of that disc. That's the feedback I get a lot. To get that central pressure over, because the gearbox is so oddly shaped. Last thing you want to be doing is you or one of the guys working with you is to put extra purchase on the rear, and then getting that sort of lean back in, you're going to end up with that ridge coming through.
And it's still that very same guy pushing that lock button while it was in operation.
Absolutely, and you're not blocking the little vents as well.
Yeah.
So
many wins.
Look at this small profile as well. You can squeeze that under stairs, perhaps.
That's it.
Only when it's further away from the camera. Yeah.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Daniel, clap.
Righto, guys. We'll give it the old Daniel clap. Thanks very much again joining us this week. Always good to catch up, guys. And look, again, if anyone's got any questions or comments, pop them down below, or else pick up the phone, give us a ring. Always happy to have a chat through these things. So yeah, good one, guys. Nice one to circle back on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks, Alan. Speaking of picking things up, I reckon I'm going to pick up a beer now. Call it a weekend.
Pick up a beer. I'm going to pick up my phone and book a seminar. That's what I'm going to do.
You're going to polish up on your edges, are you?
Then I'm going to have a beer.
Then you'll have a beer.
That's all.
I'm already going to be there.
And for those people who don't know, Edge Bandit's indoor shrouds also come for Hitachis, Metabos, Makitas, as you see here, and that's it.
Daniel, it's a goodbye.
I'm about to fall off the edge.
Okay.
All right, guys.
I'm gonna beer out.
See you guys.